Fans are keeping an eye on the most recent as a Fox News host. Shocking news was entangled in a liaison that resulted in a separation. Jesse Waters rose to prominence as a famous and contentious Fox News character. However, it was discovered that he was unfaithful to his spouse, a Fox News coworker, with a Fox producer who is younger. Even more startling, though, is that there are other Fox anchors besides Jesse who were entangled in a scandal involving dishonesty. The scandal involving Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters is off the most thought-provoking voices at Fox News, but viewers wouldn't have assumed the anchor would be captured that a divorce resulted from an affair. He initially gained notoriety by doing man-on-street interviews, particularly those conducted on the Factor O'Reilly, where he typically asked onlookers about political problems. He had a bold, occasionally combative, which led to him well-liked by viewers looking for opinions conservative remarks. Indeed, his popularity resulted in a Fox called Waters World, a news show that allowed him greater autonomy and prominence, and he ultimately went through periods of high demand. While he was concentrating during his career, he also appeared to like the ideal private existence. In 2009, Noelle Inguiato was married to Jesse Waters, subsequently called Noelle Waters. Additionally, she was a Fox News co-worker, and they began a romantic relationship at work that everybody in the office was aware. Noelle had served in a variety of roles at Fox, includes in terms of fashion, amusement, and sections on fashion. They had twins, Ellie and Sophie, daughters, who were November 2011 was the birth month. For many years, their union appeared to be steady and entwined with their Fox life, both on a personal and professional level. However, fans were surprised by everything when Noelle found that in 2017, Jesse Waters was having a romantic relationship with Emma Digio. Toto add to the drama. Emma was a significantly younger associate producer at work on the Waters World. Emma was around 25 at the time. During that period, Jesse was in his late 30s. Unexpectedly, Jesse had no desire to keep this a secret going forward since the wife had already learned. He made the decision to reveal all and follow his mistress. He visited the human on Fox News. The resources department will report the connection outside of marriage. Remarkably, Fox said that the relationship was voluntary, but because the only thing on his staff was Emma. Fox's action was to move her tone alternative program. This was intended to lessen conflict at work and stay away from any conflicts of interest. The scandal was made public the following year. He informed his fans and HR about himself, but were really aback to discover that was how he was behind closed doors. His spouse was unable to endure it any longer, so she submitted a separation at the end of 2017. As the relationship was revealed to HR and Jesse didn't formally begin in 2017, spending roughly 2 years dating Emma. When in 2019, the divorce was finalized, began seeing Emma, which was a further setback to the face of Noelle. Actually, their divorce became enforceable in March 2019. And once that same year's December arrived, he married Emma after turning around. Jesse later shared the five with co-hosts during Ahe once let the air out of a television program Emma's tires in order for her to require a take a ride from him. He portrayed it as a make a joke about his courtship of her, but it raised many eyebrows due to the fact that he was married at this time, which makes it really immoral. And he lost because he was bashful about it. Lots of admirers. Noelle and Jesse have twins, Ellie and Sophie, daughters. Next, when he married Emma and had 2 children. Kids. Jesse Jr., a son, was born in April 2021 and the birth of Georgina Post, a daughter April 2023. He is therefore a father. Of 4. However, even though this Foxen affair involving a news anchor was discovered that caused a divorce, yet it had no impact on his career in any kind. Indeed, he stayed a prominent person at the network. Just Emma was fired from her job and was sent to a different area of the network. However, Jesse continued to perform and kept his position. He skipped up his roles in prime time, such as when he was even elevated in 2022 to prime time for Jesse Waters. The controversy caused Fox News a great deal of criticism, as well as Jesse. Despite the fact that it had little an effect on his employment, it resulted in several to be mindful of the workplace connections, morality, age disparities, and his public accountability figure. A lot of people are examining the power relationships between an older host and a younger as an assistant producer. Some people claim that the case was not handled by the network appropriately following Jesse's self-report. Concerns have been expressed by others over his keeps making remarks and jokes regarding how he began seeing Emma when he was wed. Jesse has joked around a lot regarding claims of his extramarital affair and now his connection to Emma. However, when he does this, it produces a great deal of outrage and attention based on the tone. During one part, Jesse had stated that if Emma cast a covert ballot for KLA, it would be similar to having an affair. This remark generated a lot of feedback from fans that have a lot of acknowledging that he had cheated first and foremost on his spouse. Jesse, the consequences of Waters' affair kept drawing notice, particularly because he continues to appear on Fox News Today. Additionally, he continues to co-host The Five, and fans have stopped discussing his scandal, unless he takes action worse than some of his on-air appearances assertions. Regarding Noelle, his ex-wife, she had a modest public presence throughout since the separation. No one has seen her no longer on Fox News, and there are reports that she is no longer with Fox News. This demonstrates how he was able to grow even more well-known on Fox News while his former spouse, lady he had an affair with, disappeared from the public view. Jesse Waters, meanwhile, isn't the only one Fox News anchor was discovered having an affair that resulted in a divorce. Our upcoming After Then, the personality had an affair, instead, with a hostess from Las Vegas. Ed Henry's affair. Ed Henry made a significant recognition as a TV journalist who is well known for his coverage of politics, particularly while he worked for Fox News. Prior to the scandals and an affair that brought him after being laid off, he held very prominent positions at Fox News. He was their principal White House reporter following a stint at CNN. Additionally, he became into chief national reporter and America's Newsroom co-host alongside Sandra Smith. June 2010 saw his marriage to Shirley Hung, a journalist as well in background in the media. The pair had 2 kids together. Apart from this, additionally, Henry had 2 kids with his prior union. However, everything went declining when the host of Fox News was entangled in a liaison that resulted in him being fired and losing his job. It was discovered that Henry had an affair with Las Vegas hostess Natalia Lemine in 2016. As it happened, they had started dating around 10 months ago in the spring of 2015. The moment the affair was revealed, there were numerous specifics in the press. The text was part of this. Natalia's posted messages, pictures, and her descriptions of their interactions when Henry went to Vegas. Natalie showed that anytime Henry was would meet in town. A portion of the text Henry's text to her stated, "I adore that choice of you. You are very lovely. Are you thinking about their eyes? I'm thinking about making love, so I'll repeatedly make love to you so that we can exhaust you and put you to sleep." Natalie was the one who revealed the information, everything pertaining to their affair, encompassing the text messages she were from him. She disclosed that they first met in Las Vegas at the Wynn Hotel, where Henry had first encountered his spouse. She was invited to Henry's room, where one event paved the way for another. Natalie said that anytime he visited the area, we would essentially just have him with extremely high drive. For a while, we were pals. A few years prior to our actions, and he's a good man. A wonderful, kinky dude. However, according to Natalie, their liaison never entailed Henry purchasing whatever for her, and he just paid 1 month's rent to her when her finances were tight. However, he never made use of the ATM so that his spouse won't be aware. Using Natalie's disclosures, the affair was made public. Fox News responded by stating that a leave of absence was taken by Henry. Fox stated he was taking a break to address private matters. Henry received a suspension for roughly 4 months following the affair, the general public. He was demoted at that period. He rose to the position of chief national correspondent rather than the White House correspondent and received less airtime. Obligations. Roger Ailes, the Fox's public CEO at the time Henry was chastised and stated that the situation brings up important issues regarding his lack of discernment, particularly considering his vocation as a reporter. The scandal caused significant stress in his marriage. And he moved aside to take care of things. Out with Shirley Hung. However, this didn't exercise, and they ultimately received a separation. By the end of 2024, it was then disclosed that Henry and Alana were dating Stewart. However, it wasn't only the divorce. Consequences of the controversy. Following the leave, Henry returned to Fox News after his leave, roughly 4 months later. It will take him 3 to 4 years to confront another scandal, and he lost his job as a result. The media outlet Fox News received a grievance from a former worker he is accused by his lawyer of willful sexual misbehavior at work years prior. Henry was immediately suspended and taken off of on-air duties while an inquiry. Thus, Fox News kept an outside legal practice, which had not once served as Fox's representative in inquiries or lawsuits, to carry out a separate inquiry into the accusations. Following the inquiry, Ed was fired by Fox News right away. Henry's job. He lost his job as a result. Not long after his dismissal, Jennifer Eckhart, once a producer at Fox, launched legal action against Henry, and according to Fox News, Henry had raped her, forced behavior, and intimidated reprisal. According to the lawsuit, a pattern of wrongdoing. The lawsuit asserted that Fox News should have been aware of Henry's wrongdoing years prior to the official complaint that resulted in his dismissal. It asserted that other co-workers had asserted grievances previously, but these were Fox ignored it. However, Henry persisted and declared that none of these relationships were not in agreement and insisted that the connections with them were all agreeable. Following his termination, Fox's profile was taken down from news website, as well as Sandra Smith, who co-anchored America's Newsroom, proceeded on its own with turning anchors until a substitute was located. Additionally, his planned autobiography, titled The Memoir, Saving Colleen, of the enduring connection between a brother and sister, which was intended for publication, was canceled in September 2020 by his publisher. Despite his divorce, the Jennifer Eckhart's lawsuit continued for more than 5 years, until June 2025, when they ultimately resolved the matter. The agreement wasn't made public, although many believe it was mutually agreeable. However, it was a frightening lawsuit with grave accusations that Henry had acted improperly between 2014 and 2017, roughly at the same period he was enmeshed in the scandal of cheating. In the end, Henry lost his job after getting sued in a scandal and cheating. However, our next Fox News host was apprehended, having a sexual relationship with another married woman under Fox as well, and he had to openly express regret to his spouse. Payne, Charles affair. Charles Viv Payne became well known as television and a financial journalist figure primarily recognized for his contributions to Fox Business Network. He hosts Charles Payne and Making Money. Prior to his background before joining Fox Business included positions as market analyst and financial services entrepreneur. The majority of Charles's private life was secret, but Yvonne was his wife. Payne has 2 kids. However, his calm life turned into something distinct when certain charges surfaced. He was having an affair, he said, rather than downplaying it. Charles acknowledged that he was truly experiencing, and he referred to it as a 3-year affair, a romantic connection, with a spouse political analyst who typically showed up frequently, appearing as a guest on Fox networks from 2013 to 2016. He referred to it as an affair and expressed regret to his wife, kids, and companions. The woman with whom he was having an affair wasn't employed by Fox News, but she was a guest writer with the intention often into a compensated contributor. She asserted that following the conclusion of the romance, all of her network appearances also decreased, making her believe that it was Charles, the one who did it, used his impact on her career because they had broken up. However, before fans might bounce back after the infidelity controversy, even if he had released a public apology, and more grave accusations appeared. Hughes, Scotty Nell, a politician pundit, brought a startling legal action claiming that she was raped by Charles in July 2013 and forced her to have a sexual encounter. Connection. He pledged to provide her with additional airtime and reputation as a contributor in trade. This appears to be somewhat similar to his relationship with the guest writer, who further lost looks upon their breakage. Additionally, Scotty stated that when she attempted to inform Fox News about the behavior, the network blacklisted her, and Fox is accused of leaking information regarding her extramarital affair as payback. Scotty stated that her connection to Charles wasn't voluntary, but was forced to coercion. Considering all of these accusations, there was nothing Fox Business could do, but Charles Payne will be suspended by July 2017, pending an internal inquiry into professional transgressions. The network claimed that they'd taken this into consideration. Nature very seriously, and would do a comprehensive investigation. Following the Charles was restored following an investigation. In September, his suspension was removed. 2017. A condensed form of Charles' lawsuit endured, but the fundamental legal the battle went on. The judge allowed portions of Hughes's grievance to move forward. Others, however, were discarded. The pain was under a cloud of scandal. Inspection of one's reputation. His audience admittance of an affair while rejecting claims that were not consented upon was widely covered. The court proceedings took a long time, with issues being highlighted in media coverage of power relations, ethics in the workplace, and reprisal. According to the latest news, Charles continues to fulfill his duties. Works at Fox Business and is still wed to despite the unexpected affair, his wife, which resulted in a scandal. As some Fox an affair between news anchors was discovered, this resulted in additional divorces and scandals. The following figure was a victim. Rather, understanding that her husband was having an affair with her, which resulted in a divorce. Hart and Inslee. Fox News viewers must be familiar with Inslee Hart, the most well-known Fox News personality is Fox and Friends co-host. She began working for Fox News in 2007 and has since become one of the hosts of its main morning show. Her public image emphasizes her duty as a mother, her Christian beliefs, and an optimistic, cheerful manner. She's also authored works such as The Light Within Me. Angley was married in 2012 to Will Proctor, a former Clemson student, a football player from college turned financial expert. Collectively, they had Hayden. The daughter was born in 2015. In October 2018, Will and Inslee declared their split after almost 6 years of being married. Not long after, Will filed for a divorce. In the documents and reports, there were claims that because Will was unfaithful to her, an additional Fox News host was captured in a divorce as a result of an affair. To create even worse, he was unfaithful to her a couple times with one of her best buddies years before, and Anley possessed the proof to show it. Will, however, disputed all the claims and declared that there wasn't a shred of veracity to the claims he had a liaison. Anyone seems to think that he was cheating and made the decision to disband. The decision to separate was made public with a statement from Inslee in October 2018. She underlined that following after giving it careful thought, they had agreed to split up soon after Will filed for divorce, and the matter was resolved in the year 2019. Following the separation, Inslee has discussed how challenging it has been in order for her and William to co-parent, particularly because he was unfaithful to her. In essence, she finds it challenging to continue to see him and recall his treachery. However, she concentrated more on co-parenting and motherhood. She and William needed to get closer to him. In New York in order for co-parenting to be simpler. Even so, Will's affair resulted in Inslee carried on with her role after a divorce. They Friends and Fox. The program goes on. As she continues to awaken viewers on the national morning show. She has made use of the experience to discuss her more candidly faith, recovery, fortitude, and lone motherhood and aspirations for the future. For instance, Inslee stated that she would be safeguarding her and being receptive to love Hart, yet prioritizing her daughter. She also experienced a miscarriage in the past before becoming a mother to Hayden. She has talked about that loss regarding her private life and how it influenced how she approached motherhood and equilibrium in life. But Inslee is now recuperating since she got engaged to another host on Fox News, is Sean Hannity. In a private setting. The two relationship for some time, prior to leaving public with the involvement. Inslee was the victim in this scandal involving dishonesty, as opposed to our next Fox News host, who was entangled in a liaison that resulted in a separation. Hegseth, Pete. Pete Hegseth is a veteran and former Fox News anchor who had an extremely disorganized personal life. While married, he received a nomination to be the U.S. Defense Secretary. Pete has been many marriages, has a number of children, as well as his connections and personal behavior is become a topic of discussion. Of public examination. Indeed, Pete has acknowledged several incidents of committing infidelity in his first marriage, and he had roughly 5 children from that marriage alone. Affairs. In his second marriage to Samantha, his former spouse, also has an affair. Worse yet, he fathered a child with Jennifer, another Lady Rochett. Eventually, this woman turned into his third spouse. Due to his consistent betraying his spouses, including his mother, could no longer stand it. His mom, in 2018, Penelope sent him a powerful written correspondence alleging that he mistreated women. According to her email, he denigrates, lies, cheats, snoozes, and makes use of ladies for his ego and power. She subsequently stated that the email was composed in she never claimed that it wasn't rage, but it's true. As Pete was, his scandals persisted, undergoing his divorce, which took place in 2017. She was attacked by him in a Californian hotel. As stated by according to the police report, he blocked the door, grabbed her phone, and hung over her, adding that she recalled refusing several times. However, Pete stated that the claims were false and that the interaction was voluntary. Additionally, he added that they went into a private agreement with the accuser in order to prevent a litigation that would have jeopardized his work. When he received a nomination for the role of defense secretary, these personal accusations and his actions of persistently dishonest behavior fell under the spotlight once more, yet he persisted in protect himself. Even though he acknowledged infidelity in his previous unions, these Fox News presenters were implicated in relationships that ended in divorce, yet some even experienced job loss and were included in larger controversies. Which controversy do you consider to be the worst? Tell us what you think in the remarks. Thank you for viewing this video, and we'll talk to you at the following one.